We are looking at heavy rain here. And at the top left, it's not only raining, but it's also the Protoss players, the red Protoss player spawning location. For Alien Invasion, it is Patience. Able to win the game on Daedalus point, and he's of course going up against the Mind Sanity player, starting at the bottom of the map on this two-player map here. It is Stardust. Very, very confident in his abilities to win this series. So let's see if he can follow through. He took the 1-0 lead and then lost on the last map. So now we have a 1-1 situation in the best of 5. This is the last best of 5 in the quarterfinals. And the winner is going up against Sun in another Protoss versus Protoss. And Sun already stated earlier that he really doesn't want to go up against Stardust again, since in the group stage yesterday he already had to face the Protoss player once and lost without taking even a single map. So he would much prefer Patience to be the victor in this series.
And yet he's not coming in between games to give Patience some advice on how to take down Stardust. Try and help Fate to hand. He's letting Fate decide.
What do you think that advice would be? What advice would you give Patience if you would be his coach? You would walk over after the maps.
Win!
Solid advice right there.
Because clearly he doesn't know how to do either. He lost.
Well, I mean, in the last game, he really made it work with that strategy. I mean, he was scouted, so Stardust not reacting properly against what he saw there.
I don't think Stardust has like any super obvious weaknesses besides like any mistakes that he will make in that particular game. Like, I haven't seen like patterns, like he's always too greedy, always too safe. It's like a mixture of everything. And it's kind of typical for PvP as well. Sometimes you play very greedy, other times you play safe, and it depends a bit on mind games as well.
I mean, for Patience, he was very aggressive in the second map, and he hasn't really shown us yet that he can also win the long game in a Protoss versus Protoss. He didn't play bad on Frost or anything like it, but in the end it was Stardust who won it, and with quite the margin there, especially in the last battle. The first one, also a little bit tricky for him. It looked like the sure victor there with the setup that he had, but Patience lost way too much, and Stardust retreated with most of his Colossi still intact. So it looks like the big battles is something where Patience has maybe a bit of a weakness. He might prove later on in the series that he can also win those games, but for now it's really his aggression that has paid off for him so far. Stardust is once again scouting, is really having, as you said, like he's scouting a little bit late for those proxies that might occur somewhere on the map.
Yeah, so there's no point really.
It's not like he could do anything about it with the timing that he chose there, but he's doing it anyways. And we see a Nexus for Patience.
Nexus without units. I guess it could work. And then does he go into a Stargate or unit? Okay, he goes into a Stalker. Stardust has double gateway here, so seeing this, will he add a third gateway and go for a 3 gateway and Stargate aggression, I wonder.
Would you do it?
I think, yeah. I think you add a third gateway and then a Stargate, and then a Nexus after a lot of aggression. I think if you go now into Blink or Stargate, it's both, yeah, it's like kind of too late to be really good because you already got the 2 gateways. But the other thing you could do is to go into a Nexus and just use your first 3 Stalkers to
Stalk is moving in now, and at the same time, Patience is following things up with that Stargate that you were already suggesting earlier when you saw the Nexus going down. So at this point, Stardust doesn't really look like he's going to go into any additional attack just yet, but he has a lot of Stalkers rallied up there. 3 Stalkers on the way to the top left and 2 more on the production tab for now.
Okay, so it's 3 plus 2 is 5, and then he will warp in 2 more, and then he has 7.
Good job, Wolf.
Hey, I get my maths right. I'm not Wolf. There we go, with the 3rd gateway. So he will have 5 now, and then he'll warp in 2, and with the extra gateway, he can go 3 extra. So this initial force will try to force a photon overcharge. If he can achieve that as soon as possible, that would be the best for him. The sooner the better. And so far, Patience doesn't want to activate it on just 3 Stalkers yet.
Yeah.
But if he sees more, okay, oh, he uses it already. So this is very good for Stardust. That means that he just needs to wait 60 seconds, and then for sure he will have the dominant army. That's why it's so important that Patience does big damage with his Oracle.
Patience actually builds a pylon in his opponent's main base right now, at the bottom of the map. And he also has that Oracle movement. And he cancels that pylon, by the way. So just trying to fake his opponent out a little bit.
He cancels the pylon because he wants the Stalkers to leave. If he lets the pylon finish, the Stalkers will be there attacking it. And now the Oracle got spotted, and
Yeah.
the Stalkers are still there. So this is very good for Stardust.
Really good point. Like, if Stardust moves out with those two Stalkers, then there's nothing to defend against the Oracle. But now suddenly the Photon Overcharge, active to the top left, expires, and all those Stalkers are going to take down the Nexus.
Yeah, this is a sure death for the Nexus. Now, Patience does have 4 workers more. Whoa. Okay. 7 workers more right now because of what the Oracle did. So Stardust has the vastly bigger army, but Patience, better economy.
And Patience has those 2 sentries that will always allow him to cast a force field on the ramp if Stardust really tries to bully his way up and take the game. So it's very, very unlikely that he can really end the game now. But on the other hand, we have for Stardust 2 warped-in sentries, which will help him to contain his opponent as long as he wants to.
So the point where we are now is that Stardust is going to have a contain on this ramp for, I think, at least 2 minutes. And in this time, he should try to get the Nexus. But because he lost so many probes, he first has to replace those, chrono boost his Nexus and spend money on that. And also, he doesn't just want to have gateway units Nexus against like mass Void Rays, for instance. So he decided to get Blink first. But that really delays his Nexus a lot. So perhaps we're just going to have a 1 versus 1 base situation for a long time.
Do you think he's just going to blink up and try to take it?
I think Blink is still very far away, and there's an Oracle out again, so much more important will be his defenses first.
And we have a 3rd Void Ray also coming up for Patience. So with 3 Void Rays against the Stalkers, he has a really, really powerful army.
And did you see that pylon on the ramp there where he's starting to warp down Zealots on the low ground in Patience's base? That's going to be a key point. He's going to keep warping in more units there, most likely, and then come from 2 sides. First with the Zealots from below, and then right when Stardust is distracted, try to run down the ramp and pray that he doesn't get force fielded out, because he wants to attack with both parts at once.
Oh, but it has been scouted. The probe sneaking over there and seeing the Zealots.
I expect instant force field on the ramp there from Stardust. There we go. He already has it. Recalls out. Perfect move here by him. And these Stalkers will clear up all the Zealots.
And that's a really big win for him already. Doesn't lose anything here. Takes down the Zealots and might even chase down the 3 that we see to the right side. We have Blink not done just yet, but that expansion of him is just so much faster than Patience.
Such a nice move there by Stardust, understanding that the way to break out of these contains without a warp prism is always low ground warp int. He went to look for it with that probe, but that was such an important move. It made him get the force field out in time. It made him kill the 3 Zealots. And he's getting ready to do that upwards blink that you mentioned.
Exactly, that's the high ground vision. He can now go up that ramp and just start to take down pylons. He already snipes the first one. Doesn't blink up since now the army of Patience is in position, but he blinks towards the Nexus and tries to force a cancel here. He might actually just be fast enough.
We see some great play here from Stardust. He's controlling this game. His expansion was faster. He's also finally taken the worker lead once again, which of course the Oracle might have something to say about it at the bottom right.
Those Zealots earlier that he let escape, on the other hand, making their way now towards that natural.
No
and there's
problem.
immediately a photon overcharge, so that shouldn't be a big issue.
Yeah, at least he makes him use that, because the next move here is going to be Patience. Probably he would like to get 1 or 2 Immortals and then do a big attack with all the Void Rays that he saved up. Immortal and Void Rays combined do really great against Blink Stalkers.
Really nice snipe here, taking down 1 Void Ray and immediately blinking back with the Stalkers. 1 fail field, not doing anything here. Just in the middle of nowhere.
You see how that went, right? The Blink Stalkers did great. 1 Stalker died, 1 Void Ray died.
And
but as
so
soon
mobile.
as you have 2 Immortals as well, that's 2 units to do great against Stalkers. And then they can't do that kind of thing anymore. That's why you need to get 2 Immortals. And I think Patience, he can try to play a long game, or he can try to do that all-in I just mentioned. And he's going to play a long game. There go with the Robo-Bay.
But Stardust is really doing a lot here. He's always occupying his opponent. He's using the mobility of the Blink Stalkers to just bounce between the natural and even the main base. Sniping a unit here, a pylon there, trying to take down a Void Ray, maybe just a probe. And it's really starting to pay off for him.
Yeah.
Even resources lost is so much better for him right now. It's 800 against 2,500 basically. Stardust currently going into his own Templar archive, so we'll see him also, of course, with the Archons here. Whereas at the same time, he's once more the player who goes into the faster upgrades.
Yeah, imagine you're in this situation. You've got the Blink Stalkers, but you have no real other high-value units like Immortals, Charge Lots, or whatever. What tech do you go into if you fear a big Void Ray Immortal attack? And the answer is to at least have that
Whoa.
Templar Archive for some Archons.
Great position here. Blinks in and tries to snipe both of those Immortals, and he gets both of them. He loses 1-2 Stalkers in the process. Absolutely worth it.
Oh my god,
Oh,
how greedy can you get? He wants to get the Void Ray as well.
Well, Blinks down with only one of the Stalkers. He still has his Stalkers on
Still
the high
here.
ground. Still there. Might snipe one Stalker. And yes, Blinks away. Great win here for Stardust.
Wow.
Great trade.
He's getting the most out of everything. Really good play here by Stardust.
That was really well done. I mean, he got 2 Immortals. He lost 2 Stalkers, then gets another Stalker as well, even putting some
And that's
pressure on the
Zealot.
Void Ray. Exactly, the Zealot too. 4 Void Rays so far, getting a 5th one now.
Look at the worker count. 49 for Stardust against 34 for Patience. Army value is similar. So Patience is doing that attack now, but he's missing a Void Ray and 2 Immortals, which normally should have been part of this.
I mean, he kind of has to attack. What other chance does he have? He's falling farther and farther behind the longer the game goes. He's really on a clock here. He's already down in income, and the more time he gives Stardust, the better the position for the My Insanity player is going to be. We have now the High Templars being warped in, so we're going to see those Archons that we were talking about earlier. Charge is already on the production tab. The +1 attack upgrade is done, giving Stardust a lead. He's even delaying his opponent's move out with the rocks here. And this is just a position where Patient he's forced to do something. His hand is absolutely forced in this matter.
It's still a very strong army with the Void
Yeah.
Rays. So, oh my god.
Great snipe here by Stardust, seeing the Mothership Core completely out of position. Patience not realizing it and losing that too.
Yeah, I think that's actually too many Archons to take down with the Void Rays. They don't do any bonus damage on Archons, so yeah. No.
Yeah, there's the time warp, and Patience is already on the run. First piling goes down, he sees the second one, doesn't attack it just yet, but it's a 30 supply lead for Stardust at this point. And Charge is about to be completed. +2 take us halfway down. A Warp Prism in the main base might be able to change things a little bit. There's a massive warp in, but we also have a few units warped in by Stardust. Not enough though, but this main army here has a huge problem. The Archons, on the other hand, stuck in the back. They can't really participate in the fight, and that's an issue for Stardust here. But he has so much DPS, he snipes one of the Void Rays, and the Archons finally making their way to the front, whereas in the main base, Patience is still doing damage, but I think in a great scheme of things, it doesn't really accumulate to anything.
Yeah, I think we have to look at the bigger picture. Patience won this battle here, but he lost the war.
Yep.
The Void Rays are trying to use the cliff here, but vision is still being granted.
And he's, yeah, one Void Ray after another taken out, only 2 surviving. And GG, Stardust taking another victory in the best of 5.